time now for one full hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here's your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Matt Hagan earns his first win of the year, and we'll talk to the two-time champion. Jim Oberhofer will tell us about being a part of the closest finish in Top Fuel history. And hold on to your hats, the 16-time world champion John Force is here as well. We're in the beams and set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Appreciate you joining us here on this Thursday. I am Marty Huff, joined by the 4-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA national event winner, Doug Herbert. I am Marty Huff, and joining us right now on the telephone line, because when there's big news concerning John Force, he wants to get it out to the entire country as fast as possible. So joining us right now on the telephone line is the driver of the brand new Chevy Camaro SS, sponsored by Peak Antifreeze, the 16-time Funny Car World Champion. John Force joins us. How you doing, champ?
Let me say, Marty and Doug, just want to say hi. Thank you for having me on the show. Been a pretty busy week since we left Atlanta. I'm sitting in Kansas right now doing media, heading for Topeka, and took a minute to call you to talk about that new Peak Antifreeze coolant Chevrolet. We're loving it.
I saw the pictures for us. It looks pretty sharp. What goes into all the engineering and design and production everything that it takes to build a body? It's not like you just go out and pop this body out.
Well, probably the biggest thing was the $1 million that Chevrolet invested. This thing was a 1.5-year project, and it started on paper. Mike Neff, Dean Antonelli, Robert Height, everybody was on this program, and it was huge. Of course, I wanted a body by Pomona, the opening of this year, and wasn't able to get done. We finally unveiled it in Brownsburg at our shops yesterday, a big shindig put on by Chevrolet, great media turnout, but it's absolutely beautiful. And the work that went into it, built in a tunnel, it's different than the old days, how it was done. I wasn't part of all of that, but they put the cockpit, they have to build this from the NHRA designs. You have to stay within all the specs. We did that. They wanted to build the car Chevrolet to look more like the car that you drove on the street. But that's always a push, hard to do. But they got the engine out of the windshield. The blower, without moving it, the cockpit went back. And what was really cool about it, you can see it's a panoramic view, like sitting in a drive-in movie. And you can see there's not a big box in the middle of the window, for protection of the driver, because the blower's outside of the windshield. And now the driver can see right by both sides of it, over the top. It'll help you line the car up better. So many things to make it safer.
Force, tell us about John Force Racing this year. I mean, you guys have come out of the box and just really been kicking it. 2 races won in Funny Car, 2 races won in the Dragster. You guys are up at the top of the points heap. What a great deal you guys have done this year.
Well, basically, the competition's tough. In the last few years, we've taken a beating, and we decided, to split. Take the Funny Cars Neff, being on overload, watching over my son-in-law, Daniel Hood and Ronnie Thompson, and then overlooking John Schaefer that runs my team, the Peak Car, and, of course, the other group of Traxxas, and Neff trying to drive the Auto Club, run the Auto Club car for Robert Height, and then on top of it, the Dragster. So bringing in Alan Johnson of AJ Racing, his choice, Brian Hughes and his crew chief, putting that team together. Ed McCullough, Junior McCullough joined us. His son, Jason McCullough.
Yeah.
I knew him when he was a little kid. Right here in Kansas City, he used to sit on the tailgate of the truck and wag his feet when he was here with his dad. Swing his feet, sitting on the tailgate. Usually me watching his dad, because I was usually getting whooped. His dad was winning. But to put the band back together, so to speak, We've worked hard. We've got our money back with Monster joining us. But now the dragster is run by that group, and we can focus on ours. So, yeah, my daughter, Robert, was, in the lead. Courtney got the lead, a week ago. Our dragster's been out there in the lead. But the competition, they're right there. The Schumacher gang, always right in the hunt. And then you take, the Coletta group winning last week. Congratulations to them and Doug and Oberhofer and everybody. His daughter turned 21 years old, had a big birthday party for her. But we're really excited about it. Wilkerson's flying against everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's just unbelievable. The competition crew's still out there. And, Warsham winning the championship last year. We're just glad to be back in the game. And we believe this new Chevy with the Aero, most exciting to me is, even though it was expensive to build, at the end of the day, when you had blower explosions, it breaks the car in half, sometimes ejects it. You saw that last week on Fox on the NHRA show. Happened to one of the teams. But now, with our blower manifolds, with the 4 pop-offs, right, Robert? 2 pop-offs. But now we put the blow-away panels right where they belong instead of a couple feet out in front of the engine. And they blow out sideways instead of straight up where the wind's trying to, from the car running, trying to shove it back down. So many things that we've done. Even the roll cage we're going to be able to raise because some reason the way the roof is, and it's got a big dip in the top of it, but the way the roof is, they'll be able to raise my roll cage. So I'm so long-legged I can't get off the throttle. I'm jammed into the seat right up on the bell housing. So it's got a lot of things. It's lightweight. You know what I'm saying? So Norm, that runs our chassis shop and body mounting in Indy, and the whole team at John Force Racing in Indy, the guys and the gals, I want to thank them for putting us back in the ballgame.
I'll tell you what, they did a great job. You guys are, just seeing the way that those cars are running, and and with Courtney winning and Brittany winning and Robert winning, I don't think getting back the winner's circle for you is going to be a problem very soon. That's for sure.
Well, we're fighting the fight. We're testing a lot of stuff, but I'm not worried. I've got a great crew chief in John Schaefer, and a lot of the things that we're doing and working with Chevrolet, they're so excited. We met with them yesterday. Their whole team, where we're going in the future. We're excited about it.
Yep.
I've got me a good partner there, and I've got all my partners. PPG joined us, of course, Lucas. We're really excited about it. And hell, I'm just glad to have a job at my age. And I can still drive this race car. Robert does a great job. So do the girls. We'll see where the future goes.
Now, you're debuting this car at Topeka this weekend, but this is not the only car that's going to be debuted. Somewhere down along the line, Courtney will get one. Robert will get one. I don't think that there's a time frame set up, but there are 2 more at least in the pipeline. Is that right?
Well, what Norm's told us at the shop, Mike Neff told us yesterday, Robert will unveil his up at Epping, New Hampshire, the Auto Club Chevrolet. Courtney will unveil hers, probably, where we say, Chicago. So we're doing our best. We only took 3 cars out of the mold, but we know they're going to be okay. But you don't want to order a bunch of backup bodies and then find out there's an issue that needs to be fixed.
Right.
So we're just taking baby steps here. We're in no hurry, and we're long range with Chevrolet, and we're excited. Jim Campbell and his team, Mark Kent, the whole group that was there, the designers, Mr. Chu, Terry Dolan, the list goes on and on. So we're excited about it.
Force, I was up there in Indy the other week and drove by. It was on a weekend because we were doing a break school up there. But going by your office is like, you got a factory there, man. You go by there, and that thing is, it's like a whole city block. It's a country block.
Yeah, Roger Allen came in from Chevrolet that works in a lot of the technology and everything, and they love our place there. We're going to brand it Chevrolet everywhere, and of course all of our sponsors. We've done repainting, refixing everything to start all over. It's like I'm starting our history all over again, but our old history's still there in our museums in California and in Yorba Linda, and of course in Brownsburg. And but I'm excited about Fox FS1 Sports. working with brand new PR people here in Kansas, people I've never met. So, and the TV thing, they say the ratings have gone up 50%, and we've had 1.5 million viewers, on some of the shows. So, hey, they're going the right direction. They're still learning. Tony Petragon's in there. I know he still loves driving. I know he misses it, but he's doing a great job. That's quite a job. When you speak to Reese, he knows what it takes to get that job done. Him and Reinhardt and those guys, and Tony's doing a great job. And being a driver, he brings something right to the table. So we're excited to have them there. But the future, if they can make this country great again, we'll all be okay.
Hey, we want to talk cars and we want to talk racing and we want to talk TV, but Force, we got to know about the Ducks. What happened to the Ducks?
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you tweeted it out. You tweeted it out. You were saving ducks from themselves today.
That was 2 hours ago. We're here with Sarah Slaughter from NHRA. She's taken us all over town since early this morning, and we'll be working till late. And we're going down the back street trying to find this restaurant for my girls come in tomorrow, Courtney and Brittany, to do a press conference here. Hell, there's a Lucas's driver. Crampton, he's up in Topeka. Everybody's really Dallas, the new guy that's running the racetrack. Gardner.
Yes.
Is his name. Scott Gardner, that's running it, is along with NHRA, have put us all to work. Robert's here with me. We're all over the city, all over the state, and we're coming down a little back road, and I thought I was in Peabody's in Memphis, the hotel there. Last time I saw ducks in a break, and we walked right across the boulevard, and I thought there was 7 or 8 cars behind us. We slammed on the brakes, and I got out of the way because I got out of the car and ran up just to stop the traffic and let them get across. It was a family of 8 or 9 ducks, and Cole sent it and sent it to Elon, and Elon called me and said, give me a tweet, and well, the Ducks took over, and that's what that was all about. Robert told me I was nuts. I was going to get hit in traffic.
It's been a big year for you, Force. You got your first smartphone. You're now on Twitter. I mean, what's the world coming to?
I said the other day I was exhausted. The guy said, are you exhausted from working? I said, no. Working's easy. I can work around the clock. But I'm exhausted from trying to figure out how to push those little old numbers and keys, and how do I get a number? How do I get a comma? How do I get this? And I ain't too good at typing, but I can get the job done. But I've never been a computer guy, and my phone was a flip-flop, and they didn't even make batteries for it anymore. I had to quit. And my biggest fear is I'm going to push a button, send something the wrong way. Who knows where I might be and send a picture by accident and get myself in trouble, because them phones will do. I'll turn on my phone sometime, and there'll be somebody like, hi, John, and it's like, where'd you come from? and it's the toughest thing I've ever. So a race car is a piece of cake to drive.
You were talking about all the new partners that you have on board at John Force Racing. So, you've kind of changed through, but with all these new deals with Chevrolet, with Monster, Lucas Oil, Advance Auto, Peak, I mean, you have been really working hard to get all these things back in place, get all your funding back in place to get you back to the top. And you told us last year, this is kind of a working year. We got some things to do, and man, you did it.
Well, Brian Emmerich that runs the Peak Group, he's a marketing guru. He's really good, and he said, 1 week this car will be Peak, like it'll be in Topeka, and it'll be Chevrolet for some runs in Peak. Always Chevrolet, always Peak. But he said, at Phoenix we were Republic Waste Management, a big group out there. They do a lot of business with them nationwide. And then next I'm Advanced Auto Parts. I'm going to be, I can't even say surprises, but 4 or 5 other companies during the year. Of course, I'll be Chevrolet. We're doing what they call pass-through, just like NASCAR, and it's B2B business. The world has changed. You know what I mean? And we're really excited about it. And, of course, Auto Club, they love just having Robert Height and Traxxas. They love having Courtney and Monster. But you look at the Monster dragster, it's got, Murphy's USA on it. I mean, the Food Depot. Every week it changes. And now we're doing hospitality, and you talk about an overload. Man, I never realized what it is. But, boy, the fans come in, the customers come in, and it's really growing business B2B. It's what it's all about.
Now, along with everything else, like you were saying, I went by the pits this weekend at Atlanta. I mean, you had people just hanging from your hospitality in there. I mean, that's getting a lot of people eyeballs on your trailers, on your sponsors. I mean, it's just kind of in a lot of ways, it's kind of a new way of doing business, because you're getting more people interested in what you're doing.
I don't know the exact numbers, but that's not done by me. That's done by Peak, and that's done by Monster Energy, those people that run that. But, you know, we had people from Coca-Cola. We had them from grocery chains like Murphy's, USA, and we had Peak. We had like 150 on Saturday and Sunday, and you're running around there taking care of the fans and trying to win races, and it really is exciting. What I need to do, John Force needs to step up and win him a race here, so I can get some of these new sponsors like Advanced Auto Parts, get them a few plugs, or they'll be wondering what the heck they got into. But I know how to do it. We'll be okay.
I think you know how to get to the winner's circle. I can't think of a single place that you haven't been in the winner's circle for.
Well, neither.
You know where it is, right?
I've been a little bit everywhere. I've done about everything you can do in racing, and but I still love it. I still have passion. Wake up every morning loving it. Have my good days, have my bad days, but I never quit loving what I do, and that's driving these hot rods and being with Robert and being with my girls. My wife's coming in, and my grandchildren will be here this weekend. So, and Ashley will be here to watch us. Watch her husband Daniel Hood runs the Traxxas car with Ronnie Thompson. So life's really good. And Jason McCullough's back. I love it. It's like having his dad with me, and we're just having a ball.
You know, I remember just you said that just reminded me of something. I remember one time my son went up to you and he said, "Forrest, do you ever get scared?" And you stood back for a second and you go, "I'm scared every second. I'm scared somebody's going to steal that win from me or steal that whatever." I'll never forget that. That was pretty cool.
Well, you know, I've been afraid driving the car on fire from here to Australia, but it's what we do. You live right on the edge. You know, I tell my daughters, the monster's out there. Didn't get you. It got me in Dallas. But you got to know your race car inside and out. We believe our chassis shops and Brownsburg build us the best stuff that they can. They give us every bit of safety that they can. But a driver's on their own out there. They got to know the race car inside and out. And our drivers do. And because when you get in trouble, until Safety Safari gets to you, and God bless them, you know what I mean? You're on your own once you leave that start line, because the crew's back there watching. Spectators can't help you. And but it's a great sport. I love NHRA. I love where they're going. All these events, 24 events. I'm lucky to have sponsorships. Robert Height and myself worked all winter. Steve Cole came back and joined our team. We're chasing money 7 days a week. and got a great marketing team. Of course, Kelly Antonelli that runs my shops in Indy with her husband Guido. I'm a lucky man. I'm blessed. And I keep trying to grow this sport. I owe it to the sport. And we'll see where we go from here.
Well, Forrest, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you being here this week. You know, Forrest, thank you for being an American hero. Thank you for being my hero. And appreciate everything you've done for me and for the sport of drag racing.
Well, what you've done, you know, with your charities and stuff, unbelievable. And I want to take a minute if I can. We can sit around and talk all day about us being superstars, the real stars, the men and women in the armed forces, the military, you know what I mean, out there fighting the fight to give us the greatest country on earth, and that American flag. And I come out of my trailer, it's first round, and all my guys were lined up. The Peak shirts were all in a row, and of course, Lanny McLeasy, that takes care of our racetrack prep, always wanting there to help Safety Safari at NHRA. He's out there saluting the big old American flag he puts on top of our trailer every week. My people that do the stuff that make it happen, I'm just proud and honored to be with them.
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you, Forrest. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Let's make America great again. And that ain't a political statement, but I like the way it's said. And let's make drag racing, and take it where it needs to be in the future. And that's great. Thank you.
driver of the brand new Chevy Camaro SS, sponsored by Peak Antifreeze, and the 16-time Funny Car World Champion. That is John Force joining us today on the Straight Line. And when we return, well, we'll talk a little bit about Atlanta, and coming up, we'll also talk to Matt Hagan.
This is the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll have more for you right after this.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate. Leave your tires looking better than ever with Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supplies. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
One final lap in the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has the point. Junior crosses over.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Being there matters, and your United States Navy protects and defends America on the world's oceans. Around the globe, around the clock, Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and, most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America when piracy threatens global commerce, when disaster strikes, or when called upon by the Commander-in-Chief. Your Navy is there. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters, and America's Navy is already there.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now it's back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Great big thanks to John Force for joining us on the show, and in our first two segments, 18 World Championships joining us, because right now, joining us on the telephone line, and this weekend he was the driver of the Rocky Boots Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing and two-time Funny Car World Champion. Matt Hagan joins us. Matt, congratulations on a big win in Atlanta. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, I tell you what, it seems like it's been forever since we won. But, these races, they're so hard to come by, and sometimes it puts it in perspective how hard it is just to get a round win, much less win a race. But very tickled, very humble, very blessed to be here on the show with you guys talking about a race win in Atlanta.
Well, Matt, Dickie had that car running, and you did an incredible job. There was nobody that was going to beat you there. You had the best car in the property, and in the semis and finals, man, you were up on the wheel and knocked him dead.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Doug. I mean, it's one of those deals where when things are coming together and the car's running good and the pressure's kind of on you not to mess it up, and you have to kind of, I guess, so to speak, get your mind in the right place to cut a good light. And I just didn't want to be that guy that let our team down this weekend when I knew we had a great car. It was running, I guess, low ET of every session. And when you have a car like that, you have confidence as a driver, and you're not focused on what's the race car going to do. You're focused on cutting a reaction time. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and why I had some good lights there in the semifinals and finals. But it's still it's like anything. Anything can go wrong. I mean, these cars, 10,000 horsepower, 300 miles an hour. And, you're still at the mercy of the parts. So even though you do it all right, it can still break a valve train deal or a spring or whatever. It eats up a clutch disc. It wears too much. There's just so many different ways to lose. And, you just got your fingers crossed in there that it all goes right and you do your job on top of it.
That's my favorite saying. Tom Conway, I don't remember Tom Conway, the old alcohol racer, was super good. He goes, Doug, just about the time you think you got it all figured out and there's a million ways to do it wrong, you find out there's 1,000,001. It's like, gosh, darn it.
For sure.
Yeah. Hey, tell us, working with Dickie Venables, I mean, you guys now have been together for some years, and What a combination, and it just really showed this weekend, though. But Dickie Venables seems like he fits in so well, and his personality is a pretty easygoing personality, and you guys have really hit it off.
Yeah, I tell you, Doug, I'm very blessed to have the guy in my corner tuning the race car. It's been 19 races since we won a race, and it's been one of those deals where sometimes you go, man, does this guy know what he's doing? But at the end of the day, I think he proves to us, to the team, to myself, to Don Schumacher that he really does, and that he's got it together. Sometimes it takes a little while. We switched over to the 6-disc, and none of my teammates are running a 6-disc clutch, so we're learning probably slower than anybody out there because the Force Camp, they're all running 6-disc, the Coletta Camp, they're all running 6-disc. I mean, you name it, any big power player out there, they got a 6-disc clutch in the car. And they're learning pretty quick at it. They have multiple cars that are doing it. And, you think, well, Don Schumacher Racing has a multi-team, deal. Why aren't you guys all running 6-disc? But Don really leaves it up to the crew chief. He says, look, it's your job to perform. I don't care if you run a 2-disc, a 6-disc, a 12-disc, whatever it takes to win, And it's just one of those deals where Dickie went this direction because he could really see, I guess, that it's going to be better, especially in the heat of the season, when it's really crucial out there, we're locking the clutch up in the middle, and it's just taken us a little bit to get there. But, I guess to his hindsight on that deal, it's been, taking a little while to get there, but now I really am confident in what he's doing. I'm confident in the race car. I can see it in his eyes. We have that confidence back, and that's huge. Like I said, there's so many ways to do things wrong, and there's so many ways to get down on yourself. So I think having some of that confidence rolling into these next 4 or 5 races that we have coming up is really ideal to roll in here and maybe win a few more races.
Did we lose you?
No, I can still hear you.
Oh, good.
Okay, all right, there it goes.
Hey, Matt, tell us about the Rocky Boots Venator deal that was on the car this weekend.
The Venator camo is a new deal coming out, and I'm actually one of their only, I guess, so to speak, athletes that don't have their own camo line. Everybody else that they deal with either, deals with Realtree or Mossy Oak and different things like that. So it was really a great fit for us because I don't have a camo sponsorship. And with Rocky Boots, they're coming out with their own new line of camo, which is pretty cool. It's coming out in the fall. I've already got some of it and been able to do some turkey hunting with it and have some fun and get my kids out there and doing some of that stuff as well. And I love it. I mean, it's all-terrain, all-versatile camo that goes with about anything in any season. So we're really glad to be able to promote that for them. Glad to have them on board as a marketing sponsor, and a partnership, so to speak. As you know, Doug, it's tough to keep these guys out here and keep them, excited about drag racing. As cool and as awesome as our sport is, we still got to go out there and show them why they need to be here. And, just hopefully putting that Rocky Boots, car in the winner's circle and getting a little bit of limelight for them, make them keep wanting to stay out here in drag racing and be involved in the sport.
Matt, we just talked to John Force about the multiple sponsors and how many sponsors he's going to have on his car during the year. We know that you've been doing this for quite some time, where you've probably got a half a dozen sponsors, maybe even more during this during the season, which is great because it keeps you out there and it exposes a lot of people to those brands. But from a driver's standpoint, the guy that's putting on the hats and the T-shirts and everything, how hard is that from week to week to week when you're talking about different sponsors and different products?
It is crazy, I tell you. I mean, I messed up before, and I've had the wrong power suit on at the wrong race. And you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, isn't this the Mopar racer? And they're like, no, this is the Pennzoil race. That kind of stuff. So it's a little crazy keeping it all together. I mean, when you have 4 or 5 major sponsors and then another 10 or 15 associates that you're trying to plug all the time. But, very blessed to have them. I mean, we can't do it without them, obviously. But there's just so much going on all the time, and obviously we have 24 races, and you have that many different major sponsors. You're pulled in the 24 races. I'll probably be gone about 32 weeks this year, that's fine. This is the job I signed up for. I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm blessed to do what I do, and everybody. But it's just pretty pretty taxing on your family sometimes, and it's hard for the young kids. My little boy, he's 9, and he's finally gotten to that point where he's crying every weekend when I leave, because he thinks what I do now is dangerous, and he kind of realizes what danger is, and that kind of stuff. So it's a little tough to, sit him down and say, hey, buddy, this is all Daddy knows how to do. I got to go out here and make a living and buy you some more toys, So it's a little tough on the family side of it. But like I said, this is a dream job. I signed up for it, and I'm very grateful to do it. There's a lot of hardworking military folks that are gone for months and that don't get, to do what I do and have as much fun as I do, that serve our country and, and put it all on the line and don't see their family nearly as much as I do. So for me to sit here and complain about anything would be foolish. But yeah, it's tough on the kids. It's tough on the wife sometimes, but you make it work, man. And we love doing what we do, and we find a way to make it happen.
Well, Topeka would be a good place for a back-to-back win, because that last, looking at those numbers, right, 19 your 19th win, and it was 19 races since your last win. We don't want that trend to continue,
Numerology.
right? That needs to be like back to back.
Yeah, we need to keep this thing in the winner's circle. And I really think we'll win some more races along the way now that Dickie's kind of getting a handle on this clutch department and the race car itself. It's it just all comes down to repeatability and being able to go up there and not change so much and go down and make the same run on that same racetrack and keeping lane choice and keeping the car shallow and just making sure that we have every advantage that we can to do that. And, I think that we will. I mean, after, from Vegas on, I felt really good about this race car and this team and in the direction we're going in. And it's just only gotten better from there. So I'm pretty pumped up. I'm excited to roll into Topeka. I can't talk. And see how we do. But, it's like it's anything, though. It's drag racing. You never know. That's why we crawl in it every time. And I've never had the same back-to-back run, and so you never really know what you're going to get. You can put it all on paper, and it looks great on paper, but you go out there and pull the triggers out and fire it up, man, and you don't know what you're going to get. So it's that's why we do it and why we love to do it.
From a driving standpoint, from here on out, it starts to get pretty much week to week. We'll take a weekend off for Memorial Day, but then after that, we're talking about back to back to back to back and going back to back this weekend from Atlanta to Topeka. Does it get harder or easier as a driver when you're doing those back to backs?
Well, it depends on how your car's running. I mean, a lot of that comes down to confidence and. If you're in a rut and you're not doing that great, those are some really long weekends and some really long weeks because you're like, man, how do we get out of this? But if your car's clicking along and it's doing well, no different than like on the Western Swing, you started off right. You can't wait to get to that next one to see what's going to happen. So a lot of it's mental mindset, and how things are doing. But, I've always learned, too, that you have to get your pom-poms out and keep everybody's spirits up and, be that cheerleader for your team that you can be, because a lot of it comes down to just everything we do out here is mental. I mean, it's not about really being physical. It's about having, the right state of mind and doing the right thing and making the right calls and obviously looking ahead, set yourself up for the next move. And, so keeping that mental attitude and being positive is huge out here right now.
Hey, Matt, being a cheerleader, like you're saying, and going racing with the super team with Don Schumacher Racing, how does that work? Like, do you spend much time over there in Brownsburg with those guys working there, or is most of your stuff?
No, a lot of it works just taking them out to dinner.
Yep.
Those guys don't make much money, man, and you can buy them a case of beer and put a steak in their belly, and they'll love you forever. They're you're their new best friend. So. It's kind of one of those things where just kind of keeping them up and keeping them fed and keeping in their ear and just, when they're not making bonus money and they're not winning rounds and, they've got bills to pay. I mean, you can't give them a raise, but you can definitely, take them out and show them a good time and just kind of pat them on the back and keep them moving forward,
Yep. And, neat thing, I was looking at the numbers too just now. Top speed. You had low ET and top speed at Atlanta. Your top speed was faster than the top field dragsters, too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. These funny cars, they're just running, man. And the headers have a lot to do with that, but now they've made that rule change to where, you can only have them so big. I mean, Dale's the other day, I was looking at it. They had to unbolt the headers off the car to get it in the box. I was like, oh, my goodness, But no, there's a rule on all that stuff now. And but, the speeds a lot of that has to do with those headers and making big horsepower, obviously, per mile an hour and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, these crew chiefs are going to find ways to go faster.
You talked about putting a stake in the belly of the crew guys. a lot of people may not know that that's kind of your background, is that you're a cattle rancher from Monday through Thursday or so. How's the cattle business?
Well, cattle are down right now a little bit, but it's still paying my bills, and I'm living off my race money and letting my farm stuff kind of pay for some of this land and different things that I bought out there, and it's working. I can't complain. I'm very, very blessed to do what I do. But it keeps me humble. I get to get back home and get dirty and greasy and sit on a tractor and just kind of slow things down. So I love it. I love drag racing. I'm very passionate about that. And I'm going to do that as long as it lasts, as long as the sponsorship's there, and as long as it makes sense for me and my family to do it. But the farming stuff, man, I'm going to, that's something I'm going to do until the day I can't get out of bed and do it anymore. So, it's just something I love. I'm truly passionate about. And, hopefully one day my kids will take over some of these farms and do some of that themselves. So actually, hopefully they'll grow up and be a doctor or a lawyer or something that actually really makes money. And, that would be great. But no, it's just blessed to do what I do. I'm very fortunate and, very grateful to be able to come back home and get to work and enjoy what I do.
Well, Matt, thanks for joining us. Matt Hagan, driver of the DSR Rocky Boots Mopar. Good luck this weekend coming up at Topeka.
Thank you, guys. We'd love nothing more than to put the Mopar car in the winter circle in Topeka. And just want to say thank you to you guys for having me on the show, but thank you to our fans, for all the NHRA fans that are there listening, that are supporting our sponsors and going out there and buying the product. Without them, we can't do it. We can't race. They are the backbone of what we do. So thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for the time.
Two-time funny car world champion Matt Hagan joining us on the straight line. And when we return, we'll have a really interesting conversation because this guy was neck deep in everything Top Fuel this weekend. Jim Oberhofer will join us next.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More right after this.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate. Leave your tires looking better than ever with Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supplies. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Looking for winged sprint car coverage? MRN has you covered with Winged Nation. Tuesdays at noon Eastern, it's Winged Nation presented by Hercules Tire on MRN.com. Thursdays, check out the Winged Nation Weekend Preview podcast presented by Hefner Racing Products. Then on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern, watch Winged Nation presented by Sage Fruit on BAV TV. MRN's Winged Nation, your source for all things winged sprint cars.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate. Leave your tires looking better than ever with Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supplies. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Wow, we've been on the air for about 40 minutes, and it's been nonstop. Big thanks to John Force and Matt Hagan for joining us on The Straight Line. Hey, they're racing this weekend in Kansas, not far from there in Missouri. The O'Reilly Shredder, it's a full-size O'Reilly show car. That right there is going to be all over in Missouri coming up this week. Just a couple of those places, Cape Girardeau, Breckenridge Hills, Maryland Heights. That's Sunday and Wednesday. Then coming up on Thursday in Pacific, in Eureka in Missouri. And then on Friday in Arnold and House Springs. Also coming up on Saturday, Chestwood, Missouri, and Afton, Missouri. You can see the O'Reilly Shredder, and a big, big thanks to O'Reilly Auto Parts for joining us and has been since day one here on the Straight Line. Thanks for being here. Along with Doug Herbert, I'm Marty Huff. And, boy, I tell you what, Atlanta, I had the opportunity to go this weekend, and it couldn't have been better. I mean, the conditions were great. Temperatures, were perfect. A little bit of breeze, get the humidity out of the air, and so it made for great racing. Some of the best racing I've seen in a long, long time. Out of the top fuel ranks. Funny Car was great. It was just a fantastic weekend.
Well, and the KB Racing guys continued their dominance in Pro Stock with Jason Line, Greg Anderson, Low ET, Top Speed, Jason Line, winning the race. Greg Anderson, I think, is Jason the only guy, or Greg is the only person that's beat Jason this year, something like that. Anyway,
yes,
they've had a heck of a year over there, man. And they're, eventually, I guess, I was texting with Jason the other day, and he's saying, well, eventually they're going to catch us, but I'm really liking this, and I'm surprised it's been so long. I told you that at the beginning of the year. I said it's going to take some guys time, and I don't know that they really know what it is. Something that they had probably been doing before they made all these EFI and hood changes, manifold changes, all this stuff, just worked in with that program. Something they were doing worked better. I don't know. I'm not sure if they could put a finger on exactly what it was, but they are killing them.
Yep, and Jason had been Jason is the only guy that or Greg Anderson is the only guy to beat Jason Line this year.
Okay,
but Greg has beat him a couple of times on hole shots, which really didn't set well with Jason. This time it was Jason winning on a hole shot, so he felt really good about that. And it's been a great week, or been a great year so far, and not only for them, but Bo Butner has been his car has really performed. And now that he's getting a little more comfortable behind the seat of a Pro Stock car, I think that his driving is probably going to start getting better. The lights are going to start better, are going to start getting better. And
the whole team, they're just tough to beat right now. And the other interesting thing, and I said it to Hagan, but for a funny car to have top speed of the meet here in Atlanta over the dragsters, that's rare. And, you and I have talked about that a while back. For whatever reason, the NHRA has kind of limited the top fuel dragsters in their streamlining abilities. But the funny cars, they don't look anything like they did 20 years ago. So there's a lot of streamlining has happened in the funny car class, which has not happened in the dragster class. And I kind of like it in one standpoint, but in the other standpoint, I'm like, well, why don't the dragsters do that? I don't know. I haven't understood that. I'm sure it's a cost thing, but it's the same thing with funny cars. I mean, they build new bodies all the time. It's expensive. So I'm not sure, but it is kind of neat because it doesn't happen very often that a funny car has top speed over the dragsters, and it did this weekend.
And I think as a whole, if you look at the top speeds of the meets since Pomona, it may not be exclusively top fuel only, and this weekend was a good example of that. But the margin is shrinking.
Right.
Where it used to be, probably 10, 15 mile an hour difference. Now it's probably maybe 5, 6 mile an hour difference. Maybe not even that. On a weekend where you see top speed for a funny car being, say for example, 325 and
and it comes down to streamlining.
Yeah.
And the dragsters typically will pick up about 50 to about 50 miles an hour from half track till the finish line, where the funny cars pick up maybe 60 or more miles an hour. So they're picking up more speed on the top end, and there it goes, back to streamlining. The aerodynamics on the funny cars are really, really good. Better downforce, more aerodynamic, slippery, going through the air, all these things. I would like to see that on top fuel cars. I don't know why they don't let them do it.
Yep.
I'm talking about file a complaint.
Peter Clifford, we want to talk
I'm sure
to you.
He'll be right on.
Oh, yeah. Graham Light? No, probably not.
Well, Graham told me years ago, because I had all these plans to build a streamliner about 10 years ago. And Graham said, don't waste your money because we're not going to let you run it. And I go, wait, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Force runs a streamliner. All these funny cars are streamliners. Let me run a streamliner. They didn't want anything to do with it. And I don't know. I think it would generate interest in the sport if a top fuel car looked more like an Indy car, for instance, or whatever. And now, nothing against the deal that Schumacher's doing with the streamlined, with the canopies and all that. Those look neat. I think they're cool. Well, there's a whole lot more they could do to them as well. Think about take some of the funny car aerodynamics and put that on a top fuel car.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that just by the photos that we saw coming out of the John Force announcement here just a couple of days ago with their new funny car and some of the new streamlined aerodynamics that they have implemented on the new Camaro that John will debut this weekend at Topeka. There's a lot of that going on. So,
well, speaking of that, and then Jim Oberhofer that's coming on, I know they've spent some time over here in the Toyota with the Toyota TRD people and working with them in their wind tunnel. So we'll be interested to talk to Jimmo about that.
Yeah, and we'll bring him on right now. Crew chief of the Mac Tools Dragster and president of Coletta Motorsports, Jim Oberhofer, will join us. Jimmo, quite a weekend for you guys.
Yeah, it was. It was an amazing weekend. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, you started out with Alshie's birthday, and then Doug has Lowy T and top speed, #1 qualifier, and then it doesn't stop. It goes on and on here.
Yeah, no, it was, having my daughter turn 21 was a big thing for me, and I think that aged me about 10 years in about a week's time, even though I've been preparing her a little bit, over the years with having some alcoholic beverages and stuff, but now legally she can do it, and she can go into the bars on her own, do whatever. So I've been hoping that it wouldn't be a big deal for her to turn 21, but it really was. It was an awesome weekend. She actually, when she turned 10 years old, she was in Atlanta, and Doug won that race. And then the very next year, when she turned 11 years old, Doug won that race. And so now for her to be able to turn 21 and be there and be part of the closest race, top fuel race in drag racing history was awesome. And I told her, I said, it doesn't get much better than that, kid. Well,
you and Tammy have done just an excellent job with bringing up a neat girl, because every time I see her, she's so sweet and so nice. What a neat kid. You're super blessed, buddy.
Oh, she takes after her mother. Everything good about her, she takes after her mother. Everything is bad, it's me.
I was not saying that, Jimmo.
Well, I'll say it.
Okay. Tell us about the book. Everybody loves your book. We've got some neat things coming up later in the year. We'll talk about that another time. But for those listeners that haven't read Jimmo's book, tell them, Jimmo, a little bit about your book, where they can go to get it, read about it, and learn about it.
Well, it's called Top Fuel for Life, and it's life lessons from a crew chief, and basically it's a book about myself and my wife Tammy and my daughter Ashley, and me growing up around drag racing, meeting my wife Tammy, working for the Coletta team, and then unfortunately in May of 2012, Tammy came down with stage 4 metastatic lung cancer, and at the time, I really didn't understand what was going on, and I kind of treated her like she had a bad tune-up in her, and we could fix that. That's the way we think, right, Doug? I mean, we could fix anything, and I looked at it that she would be, fine, that, we'd put a new tune-up in her, and she'd be on her way. And it took me probably about, 5 months, and I realized that she was, dying in front of my eyes, and it really was a swift kick in the butt for me, to really understand what meant more to me in my life, and that I had such a great support system with Tammy and with Ashley, and they were my biggest fans. And I started really understanding, what life was all about, and, that I put too much pressure on myself to succeed here in drag racing, and that the only thing I thought that would make me happy was winning a drag race. And I soon realized that, I should be happy anyway, because I had a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful daughter. I work with such an amazing group of people led by Connie Coletta and the Coletta family. And I get to go out and play with 10,000 horsepower race cars and be part of all the great, action at NHRA Drag Racing and the NHRA fans and so many things. I'm like, why wouldn't I be happy? Why do I need to be, to have a win to be happy? And, I started realizing that. I realized that I surrounded myself with great people here at Coletta Motorsports that really bailed me out and helped me out while Tammy was going through so many things and being in the hospital with her. And everybody stepped up so much. So, I wanted to share that story and share, my mistakes that I've made in my life, which I've made plenty of them. That's a whole nother probably series of books in itself. And I wanted to share with everybody the things that I learned through the mistakes that I made. And I felt like, my message is that, kind of happiness will breed success. And, I'm happy, once I realized that we won a race with Doug back in 2013 at Dallas, and it was the first time that we had won with Doug's car since 2010. And since that time, the Coletta team, has won, counting last weekend, we've won 19 races. We won a world championship with Del Wersham's car. And, it's that trickle-down effect. And, I feel that my attitude changed for the better, and because of that, it changed everything around Coletta Motorsports. And, that's a lot of what the book's about, and we're selling it Amazon.com. We have it on there, and then we're selling it at the racetrack at the Patron merchandise trailer. So it's a cool deal. People buy the book and they come by. I always try to make sure I sign the book, and it's really cool some of the impact that the book has had on so many people, and that in itself makes me really, really thrilled. I'm almost humbled, to be honest with you, because there's so many awesome stories by so many people that have come up to me thanking me for writing the book.
Wow. Jimmo, real quick, the closest Top Fuel run in history involving both of your Top Fuel cars. Just kind of take us through that, and especially now that you've had a chance to digest both of those runs and what made them so close.
Well, for when Doug beat Antron Brown in the semifinals and got into the final round, it was like, all right, all we need is JR to get there, and then we've got an all Coletta final. And before the semifinals, they went to swap lanes, and they had some problems with the front end of Doug's car. They kind of got over-centered and got a steering arm kind of out of whack. And, James Riola, he's got some old school butchery in him. He got some big old pry bars out and straightened it all out, and we were good to go. And I was like, oh, please don't let anything stupid happen with this car. And it went straight down the track and won. And when JR crossed the finish line, his win light came up in the semifinals against Sean Langdon, I felt like we had already won. I'm partial to Doug Coletta's team. Doug Coletta is a driver in the Mac Tools car because that's kind of my baby that, I'm fortunate enough to work on. But to have JR in the final as well with the Sealmaster team and with Connie Coletta and Rob Flynn, I was just so happy. I felt like we couldn't lose. So, which we couldn't. But, before the final round, that was probably about as relaxed before a final round that I've ever been. And, I'd go over there, I'd spy on Connie and see what he was up to and what he had planned for us. And it was just a good feeling. And going up there, Doug has been just doing an amazing job driving the car, for us this year. And, I've got all the confidence in the world in him that he's going to do a great job on the starting line. And I felt like, all right, we're going to go up there and try to repeat what we did in the semis and run another 77. And when they both left the starting line, I felt good because I felt like, all right, Doug I felt like he cut a good light. And then I kept seeing that Sealmaster car out of the corner of my eye going down the track, and I'm like, oh boy, hopefully we run good. And then when I saw the time come up and our win light came on, and I saw that Doug had won on a hole shot, I went, wow, that's pretty awesome. 2 races in a row that Doug's won, and he's won them both on hole shots. And at the time I started feeling a little bad for JR because I know how hard JR works at cutting good lights, and he does such a great job driving for Connie. And
well, you got Connie over there telling him how to do it. Though. I've had Connie tell me. Like,
oh yeah,
Connie, you want to listen? Let me tell you, I'm the best. He's not a bit modest either.
No.
Yeah.
Connie
and
is funny.
then hearing that it like the lights that they each had, and then seeing the times, and then like, wow, this was. And then they talked about that it was basically a virtual tie. I was like, holy cow! And we came out on the winning end of that. Normally we don't.
Yeah, right.
But it was an awesome deal. And then after that, because of course there was a lot of talk before the final round that Doug would lay down for JR so JR can get in the tracks to shoot out. And we're not going to do stuff like that. I mean, it's, Connie's not that way right now. He just, it's like, hey, if we're going to go out there and be in the tracks and shoot out, we're going to earn it. And, so he came up to me afterwards. He goes, hey, I see you laid down for me. And I said, well, I did. I go, Doug didn't, but I did. Car didn't run quite as good. It was so cool. It was such a cool deal for all the teams and for, the excitement that we have here in Ypsilanti, Michigan at the Coletta Motorsports shop, with all the guys in the chassis shop that work so hard to build, really two amazing top fuel dragsters and, not building funny cars. And now, the CNC shop that we have and all the parts we're producing out of there in our repair shop, everybody's so excited about what's going on here. And it's just it's a great time, to be part of Coletta Motorsports. It's such an awesome feeling for all the hardworking guys and girls that we have here.
Well, no doubt about it. Team manager for Coletta Motorsports, Jim Oberhofer, proud to say friend of mine. Congratulations, great win, and just great performance all the way around from Coletta Motorsports, guys. The Funny Car Championship last year, your two back-to-back wins in Top Fuel, now leading the Top Fuel points. You guys I just don't even know what else to say. You guys are on it.
Well, let's hope that, like, after Pomona, that we're talking about Doug still leading the points. But
that's right.
As I've told people, I said, in 2014, we started out well, and then we got into the countdown. We fell on our face, and really that was disheartening for the whole group. But, I think, us going forward, we just have more of a confidence level than what we've ever had, a better understanding of, what we're doing with our race car as far as tune-up and chassis and all this stuff. And, I feel we're going to be tough all year long.
Right
Jimmo,
on.
thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the big win at Atlanta and back-to-back, and go get them at Topeka.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Team president and manager of Coletta Motorsports, Jim Oberhofer, and joining us here on the Straight Line. When we return, wrap up another great edition of the show.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate. Leave your tires looking better than ever with Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet, free after mail-in rebate during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supplies. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Victory Junction was young race driver Adam Petty's dream. He worked toward building a camp where children with serious medical conditions could concentrate on fun and not their illness or disease. When he died tragically, his family and friends around NASCAR made sure that dream came true. Today, Victory Junction is a camp that provides fun, life-changing experiences to children dealing with illnesses and disabilities, all at no cost to the camper. Help us serve more children by visiting victoryjunction.org.
NHRA Drag Racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my two sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
Welcome back to the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Wow, an amazing straight line. First of all, right off the top, John Force, and then Matt Hagan, and then Jim Oberhofer joining us here on the straight line.
And your favorite quote?
Happiness will breed success.
That's a good one.
That's Jimo's, and so yeah, you'll see that coming out of social media. So thanks to everybody for joining us on today's Straight Line, and we're headed to Topeka. So for Doug, for Robbie Mays, for Daryl Smith, I'm Marty Huff. We will talk to you next week right here on the Straight Line.
You've been listening to the Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and is brought to you by Hercules Tires. This program is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.